Welcome back to the OTB podcast, the original and still the best New Zealand mountain bike podcast, coming to you after a busy couple of weeks of racing. And it's been so busy that only one of my co-hosts has made it today. Lester, at least you've made it. Thanks for joining, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. It's good to be here once again, KB. You know, just the strong survive, as they say.
Yeah, that's us. We've made it. I think Red Dog's going to jump in at some point, but we'll see how that goes. But as always, the OTB podcast is brought to you by Maxxis Tyres, New Zealand's tyre of choice, and Fox Suspension, who both of those brands were the elite men's and women's winners at Loudenvielle last weekend with Gracie Hemstreet and Jackson Goldstone. So big weekend for Maxxis and Fox, which is always good to see. If you are watching us on YouTube, you'll see an OTB podcast t-shirt over there on the side. Lester's got a 5-panel hat on. We've still got some of those, so if you do want a t-shirt or a hat, slip on into the DMs and we can get you sorted there. Lester, mate, where do we start? Sammy Maxwell's ride at Nove Mesto, Nove, but that might lead me into a rant about Rick.
Don't go there.
Winnie Goldsbury with an EDR podium, Cam Jones winning Unbound, Tyler Waite with another downhill podium. It was a big couple of weeks of racing.
Unreal, eh? Between qualifying and finals and the downhill, plus all the enduro guys going on. Didn't we have an enduro junior on the podium as well? Pretty sure we did.
Yeah, Cooper
One of the Yeti
Millwood.
boys. Yeah, yep. That's the one. Pretty epic all around, I think. Like the future's looking pretty bright with a whole gaggle of people coming through. So it's good.
Pretty impressive. Plus, Ellie qualifying first in the junior women's, but unfortunately crashing in the finals, as a lot of races did. But there's been a lot going on. But I reckon, before we go too deep into it, Sammy Maxwell's second at Nove Mesto, that was a hell of a ride. Man, she came through hot on that.
Yeah, that was epic. Backing up that first performance of hers with that, I think I messaged you at the time and I was just like, she just ran out of road. If the road was 10 meters longer, maybe even 5, she probably would have got her. So
if it hadn't been for that mistake in that steep climb when she got out into the tape, and basically she had to come to a stop and get going again. And that probably was like the point that killed the race for her. But yeah, it was super close still.
Yeah, I think. I would say that she is well aware that likely cost her the race, but in classic Sammy fashion, she just kind of chin up and moves on, and it's pretty cool to see her so relaxed about the whole thing. There'd be a lot of people all over the world like killing to be in her position right now, and she's just kind of taking it her stride and showing some serious maturity. It's pretty cool.
Have you seen the points gap she's got now after 3 rounds?
No.
Like, she's got a pretty big lead going on because her kind of competition didn't do that good at Nove Mesto. So,
you mean Nove Mesto, Nove?
Yes, sorry, Nove. In case you didn't hear it 87 times in the broadcast.
Let's not go there yet. That's epic. Like, I don't even really. It's just pretty cool to see her progression, see what she's been through in the last few years, and to see her coming out punching like that really quickly. It's not like she's done heaps of World Cup seasons, so it's awesome.
And it's I love that she is just genuine Sammy the whole time. Like, there's an interview with her on Instagram with like the UCI World Series Instagram or whatever, and she like rides off the rollers as she starts talking to them, and she's just enjoying herself the whole time. Like, she's so classic.
Yeah, it's good. You juxtapose that with some, I don't know, not so much now, but certainly in the past, there's been some other riders out there who are like really putting on a front, trying to be the super pro or whatever. And maybe that just reflects in how they race as well. They're too serious and, it gets in their head or whatever, but she's just straight up. You get what you get. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who don't vibe with her vibe, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah. She's pretty classic. After the Walker last year, when I was doing the post-race interviews, and she's sitting there straight after the race reading a Harry Potter book. And she was just fizzing on Harry Potter at that point. So she was like straight off the bike and reading Harry Potter again. Like,
that's amazing.
It's pretty funny. How about Cam Jones at Unbound? Let's keep it on the endurance topic for a little bit so we really lose all our listeners in the first couple of minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I think it doesn't matter what kind of bike you're riding, you would definitely identify with that. I just want to look up the numbers I saw of his the other day.
Oh,
You
yeah,
probably
you
got
bring
them on
those
hand.
up. No, I don't. I meant to, but man, that was like, I mean, that ride was unreal. And he put in the fastest course record there by like 34 minutes over Lockie Morton, who is a, world tour rider. And that was a huge ride from Cam. But
Here we go. So
there you go.
8 hours 37.
It's a massive day.
9,184 kilojoules. Average speed of 23.4 miles per hour. So I heard a post-race interview, and I can't remember the time span, but it might have been like 2.5 hours. The first 2.5 hours, the average speed was like 43k an hour.
Fuck, that is hooking.
Which is really fast on a gravel bike.
Well, 23 miles an hour works out to about 35, 36 Ks an hour.
Also really fast on a gravel bike.
Yeah.
That's crazy. His normalized power, or average power, was 295. Normalized power was 328. His max was just over 1,000. But his peak 20-minute was 380 watts. The dude is a beast.
Yeah. It's interesting to see because, like, he's a beast. Like, he's a bigger dude than a lot of those guys as well. But clearly that power was paying off, when...
For sure.
Rather than go the full lightweight power to weight ratio.
I'd be super interested to dig into some of the backstory, but I would say, like, I'm pretty sure we've discussed it on the pod before, some of his training rides that he did just south of Nelson there and through summer Molesworth Station and all that and Rainbow Road. You heard some of, like, the grams per hour that he was pushing in his carbohydrate intake and the power that he was doing on those rides. And I would say that, Cabin, his coach, and him probably would have looked at some of that and gone, actually, you could potentially, this is the course for you. You could potentially do really well. So
I saw he said he did 195 grams of carbs per hour.
That's crazy.
Massive.
Oh,
that's so much fuel.
Yeah, pretty cool. Also cool that his parents were there in the feed zone doing his feeding. And he's another guy that I guess, Cam is Cam, and he just rocks to his own beat and does his thing.
I got up. Was it Sunday morning it was on here? It was Monday morning, whatever morning. I got up and I was like, hey, Unbound's on. So I turned it on because I knew it was live on YouTube, and immediately, like, it was a long distance shot. And I was like, that's Cam leading. Like, I could just pick his form on the bike straight away. And I was like, no shit. And that was, I don't know, hour and a half to go or something. And I kind of flicked back and forth and then watched like the last 20 minutes. And it was like he was pulling for so long at the end. Like
I really thought that Simon Pellew, something like that. I really thought that he was just going to play the classic roadie maneuver and jump him on the hill that Cam went.
That's what I was waiting for. Cam just rode away from him.
Rode him off. Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool, and I'm not sure how he went, but Matt Wilson was there, Caleb Bodicher was there.
Yeah,
I haven't seen how Matt ended up finishing, but even
Caleb,
those guys,
I think, was in the 30s, which is not anything to
pretty solid still.
Yeah, that's like a real good result there. It's a massive race. Like, in terms of gravel, this is probably the highest profile gravel race outside of Worlds.
Arguably, people would say it is the Worlds of gravel racing because it was the first big event.
200 miles, isn't it? So it's about 322 Ks or something.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an interesting one because it's not flat, but comparative to some other events, it's relatively flat. It's really rolling.
Yeah.
It is interesting that event has such a big following and I don't know what you'd call it, like such a cachet to come with it.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's better races around, but it's just it's one of the first, it's one of the biggest, longest. Pretty cool though to see the Kiwis. All the Kiwis there would have been punching pretty well, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think what's really cool out of that is that obviously Cam and also Matt Wilson both get a wild card confirmation now for the rest of the Lifetime Grand Prix. So to see how they, because I think Matt's strengths will come in some of the later ones where this was definitely up Cam's alley.
Yeah. It's going to be real interesting to see how the likes of Leadville and that sort of thing go for them.
Probably not very well.
Nah, pretty out there races.
The elevation is mental.
I actually had a good question from Jordan Phipps. What's the comparison to Cam's Unbound win in downhill racing? Like, what would... I was kind of trying to think about it, and I was like, if Lockie had pulled off that win at Poland last year, I think that's probably about as close as I could really put it.
I would put it up. I would put it at a World Cup win. You mentioned the Gravel World Champs. I don't actually think that maybe Gravel World Champs is different, but any of the Gravel whatever they call it, Gravel World Series, you could win one of those. It doesn't really mean anything. I couldn't tell you who won I could tell you who won one of them, but I could probably tell you who won the last 3 Unbounds. Yeah, and I don't even follow the Unbound that closely, but I'd say it'd be equivalent of a World Cup win.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking, and I was like, well, like Lockie was quite a breakout at Poland last year in terms of like if he'd pulled off and won that was probably about as close as someone who you didn't expect to just, it's for a Kiwi to show up and
for sure
to win a race like that now. So yeah
absolutely.
That was pretty impressive. Winning ZDR podium, that was pretty awesome.
So only woman Kiwi on the podium and youngest woman ever.
I saw that. That was
which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, there hasn't been a lot of, it's been like, I guess I'd take that as it's been a steep learning curve for the under 23 woman moving into elite in the past. But when he was it 3 rounds in and on the podium.
Yeah, that's an interesting point about the under 23s coming through because I look at, there's quite a few of the older women who aren't racing this year. And so I was kind of wondering, well, who's going to come through next? I mean, total mind blank, but the woman who won,
Ella Connolly.
Yeah. She's been coming up and getting stronger each year. She had a good year last year, and then this year, arguably, she could take the win overall.
Yeah.
Mind you, a lot can happen, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't been following the EDR series that close. It feels like it's lost a bit of its buzz this year. I don't know whether it's just me.
I think it's just you on a down buzz, mate.
Maybe I'm just too excited about downhill racing.
I kind of beg to differ because last year I didn't really follow much of it. And I felt last year like it was really just almost multi-stage downhill. Yeah. Because there was so much chairlift and they were trying to keep it in a zone. So far, I think they've done a great job from the outside looking in and just going off kind of rider feedback that I've read on the internet. It sounds like the riders are probably into it as well, but I still don't think they can cover it properly. That's the problem. And maybe enduro is just not a sport to cover.
I think you're right. I think it's just it's the
highlight
sport.
Package is what it is, and yeah.
It's never going to be live.
No, I mean, what is interesting though is why the heck are they doing a 10+ hour live stream of Unbound? Like, who sits there?
When I tuned in, there was 22,500 people watching.
That's bonkers.
Sickos like you, Moki. Sickos.
I think they had an average of, I think I read the average of 30,000 across the day.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's why they're doing a 10.5 hour live stream.
I mean, I guess you just have it playing in the background when you're in your office and mind you, it's Sunday in and out. So, yeah. Anyway, welcome aboard, Red Dog.
Good to have you.
Are we recording?
Yeah, we're on. We've been going.
This is the most on time it's ever been. Or did you guys start at 8?
Nah, we had a bit of a pre-show chit-chat and then we decided just to kick it in the guts and get going.
Yeah, fair enough.
Get you join.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But you've missed out. I mean, we probably can't go back and talk about Unbound again, as much as I know you'd really, really want to. We'll probably
gravel racing.
we'll probably just have to move on to downhill at this point, I think.
If it doesn't involve, I mean, it's close to a brevo though, Red Dog, for a lot of those people out there.
It's this funny sort of like slither of the Venn diagram that I'm not super into.
Oh, man. Well, we better talk about downhill then, since Red Dog's here, because he is our resident downhill specialist.
No, that's untrue. I heard you guys talking about enduro.
No, we did.
That's my wheelhouse.
I made sure I actually put enduro in there.
Me and Red Dog did some enduro on the weekend.
Yeah, we did.
I was impressed to hear that Red Dog rode his trail bike. Do you think he keeps it now, Lester, or do you reckon he's still going to sell it?
I reckon he's just pulling our legs, honestly.
I'm just pulling your leg. It was fun.
It was mean ride. It was
we had
really
a good time. Yeah, we were on course with horse.
We were on course with horse, and then actually after you went Red Dog, then JK turned up. So a couple of laps with them as well.
What a dream.
JK nearly had a hugie. JK's got a lot of flexibility. He was fully on the wrong, had his leg over right on the wrong side of the bike, dropping into that rut in the bottom of Minerals.
Yeah.
That one that we rode. So he came down there with horse right off his date, and I was back a little bit, but not too far, close enough to see what was going on still. And he nearly had a hugie. But
you wouldn't want to be too close when horse is up someone's date.
No.
This is true.
Stand back.
He's a big man.
All right. My first topic that I wrote down was, when was the last time Giant had a female downhill racer, and was it Vanessa Quinn?
Ooh, nah, it wasn't Vanessa Quinn.
Has there been one? Because I was trying to think back, and I'm like...
Rachel Atherton.
Don't give me Rachel Atherton, because she wasn't on the Giant factory team. That was just Atherton's.
You can't just slice and dice.
I can.
Because did they have a factory team then when the Athertons were on?
This is my question, Red Dog. I'll choose how I want it answered.
So the factory team went away for a while, and it came back, didn't it? With the Neefling, Danny Hart days.
I mean, I know they have Liv, obviously, as their women's brand, but that hasn't stopped Syndicate from having Nina Hoffman and Ali on the team, but when they have Juliana on the side. But I was like, man, Giant needs a female. They need a woman racing on that team. It's been too long.
I have to agree with you there. It's interesting.
Yeah. Vanessa, how long ago was that?
2002, maybe? It's a long time.
Are we talking pre-dirt?
Yes. Yeah. 01, 02 era.
Oh.
I'll tell you what made me feel, other than that being a long time ago, made me feel old. I was riding with some young guys in the weekend, and we've been rebuilding the original Devil's Tail downhill track here in Nelson on Fringe Hill, and I found a bit of race tape, just in the slash, and I was like, see this bit of, it was like Bush Road Salads, I think it was.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it might not have been Bush Road Salads. It was, what were those real dry muesli bars that sponsored the...
Nature's Valley.
Nature's Valley. It had Nature's Valley and Mountain Bike New Zealand on it. And I was like, this race tape is from 2007. This was the last time we had a race here. And they're like,
R.I.P.
That was before we were born.
Oh.
And I'm like, holy shit.
Let's go and cry.
Yeah. Curled up into a ball at that point.
I had to laugh when I was riding at the dirt jumps, because I'm a youth.
You were at the dirt jumps?
I was at the dirt jumps. We got dirt jumps in Tiamuru now.
Did you do an X-up?
Which is sick. To be honest, I didn't really. I was on my trail bike, and it doesn't X-up so well.
Nah.
Got to get another hardtail. Anyway, the point of my story is that these kids were there, and they're like, that's a sick bike, rah, rah. And they're like, how long have you been riding, man? And
Did you tell them about Crankin Park?
I should have.
Castle Rock.
I told them how long I'd been riding, and they were just they couldn't even comprehend. They would have been a quarter of my age. Actually, literally a quarter of my age.
So they were 25.
Yeah. But anyway, I was the only one who could clear the big line properly, so I had the last laugh. Yeah, just because I could pedal faster than they could.
We're old, and this is
Anyway.
why when you look at the listeners that listen to the show, the bulk of them are around 30 to 45 years old.
all five of the people that we know. All our mates.
Exactly. Yeah. The other one I had, the number one plate should be held all season by last year's winner and not the current leader.
No, I disagree.
I don't like it. I think Bruni should be running the number one because he won the overall last year, and Valley.
No, but as a punter watching from the outside, it's an easy story because the number one is the current fastest person in the series.
Yeah, but they've got their green jerseys on. You know, like you look at basically any other sport where you run a number, the person who runs the number one is last year's champion.
Yeah,
This has been happening forever, though, right? It always fluctuated with the results during the year. I'm sure of it. It's just now we have permanent numbers,
Yeah,
or career numbers.
yeah, I don't like it.
I don't know. I do like the jersey thing. There's definitely got to be a leader's jersey, but I think a leader's plate too ties it all together.
I just think I'm deep in motocross, and so the leader always has a red background on their number. So do the red background on the leader's number. Whether that's
the number ones from last year.
Yeah, whether that's Bruni running number one with the leaders. Oh, he wouldn't actually wouldn't have the leaders plate on because that will be Emery Perron next week at Leo Gang, who's just taken over the leaders. But that was my topic to bring up.
What about, can we return the leader's garment to a vest that you stick a sticker on? It's better. It's honestly better than the green thing.
Yeah, nice, very nice.
Front and
Yeah,
back.
the green
denim jacket would be all right.
a denim. I reckon a denim vest.
Denim
that would be a
vest,
strong
Or a
look.
jacket with the sleeves torn off.
Like it'd been at an after party.
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
2000s.
exactly.
A front back V-neck, Red Dog.
Front and back.
Another topic that I had written in my notes while I was watching was fucking cell phones in pockets while racing.
Yeah,
It's still happening.
That
People
stood out
are
to me
racing.
as well.
They're
Yeah.
racing. I am quite certain, and I watched multiple times, I am 90% certain that Gracie Hemstreet had her cell phone in her pocket while she was racing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And she won. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Actually, do we want to talk about her run while we're talking about
Yeah,
it? Or we're just going to
Yeah,
talk about her
we can move into that. I did bring this up. I complained to my wife about this, and she was like, "You've got so old." And I was like,
Mate,
"Fuck,
you-
really?"
You wait,
Nah, but-
you wait. Next, someone will have a blooming vape hanging out of their pocket. Just
In the start gate, someone will be chuffing on it,
on
mate.
the chuff. Oh, that's when I find a new
opens the
sport.
lungs out. Opens
That's
the
when I
lungs out.
find a new sport. This podcast
Well, you know
will get
that
shut
they-
down.
They used to be, smoking a dart in the tour. Keep the lungs
Yeah,
open.
well-
Get the lungs up.
I mean, I saw a guy walking through town the other day, and he was probably, 20-ish, and he was smoking a cigarette. And I was like, man, look at him. He's keeping it real. Like, I actually had respect for him
Old
because he
school.
wasn't
wants it.
vaping.
What a legend.
Gracie's run was massive. I was actually just looking through the splits before, and at the first split, she was 3 seconds down on Valley in the first 40 seconds of track.
Yeah,
So-
she was wasn't she last or like close to last?
Yeah, she was 15th. She was
Yeah.
15th at the first split.
That's unreal.
I do wonder, obviously she was quite wind affected in the top.
Yeah.
But what if she wasn't? Like, if she had a tailwind or no wind or whatever, maybe, I don't know, let's just say Valley wasn't as wind affected in the top. Which arguably she wasn't. But what would the result have been then? She could have absolutely smoked everyone. She was definitely the fastest in the bottom, visibly way more aggressive through the bottom.
Oh, she was
reminded me a
so
bit of-
aggressive.
She reminded me a bit of Rachel Atherton, I thought, just watching how she was riding.
I reckon it was the same with Jackson. Like, both of them were willing to die for
Yeah.
it, essentially. Like, they were... If Jackson had crashed, or by any of them crashed, they were done, man. They were going so fast.
Well, Jackson's average speed was 47.145 kilometers per hour in that
That's
run.
That's
insane.
insane. It's ridiculous.
mental.
So that was one thing that I kind of had in my mental notes was is that track too fast?
When you look at it at the average speed, I would say yes.
Yeah.
Especially when the seat dry, I think.
Yeah, the dryness maybe.
I think that's why there was so many crashes, because it was like you have to be riding just on the absolute limit now, and when the track is that fast and loose, you could see the consequences through so many riders.
Yeah, and I guess the other part of that as well is like, I don't know, you hit a rock which had been put out by the previous rider, and you absolutely eat it because you're doing 47k an hour. But if it's a slower course and that rock's there, you can make evasive maneuver or you hit it and you don't crash or whatever. So I feel that maybe that really high speed or consistently high average speed just increases the variables and the things that can go wrong. When they go wrong, it's the end of your run, essentially.
And
Can't
that
make
track
a mistake and get away with it.
That track is so steep once they drop off the ridge as well. Like, you could see it as soon as anyone made a mistake and went off track, like Charlie Hatton, they were just on for the ride. Like, you just got to...
How was that?
You got to try and ride it out, and most of the time it did not go well.
That Charlie's must have been terrifying. Like, once you're off the track and you're still on your bike going straight down like that, it is so scary.
Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, the point we're on, Gracie's run, that was... And she went 3.1 seconds up in the end. Like, so she comes from a 3-second deficit, makes up 6 seconds on Valley over the run. Like, that was a huge run.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Could put it that way.
Pretty
Gracie
cool.
Hill.
It's going to be super cool to see if that now opens the door for her, you know? Now that she knows she can do it.
I'm still really impressed with Tani this season. Like, from her win last week was obviously, or last round was really good. And then it looked like she had a pretty tough weekend this weekend and still pulled in for a third. She looks like she's riding better. I mean, we're only 2 rounds in, but she looks like she's riding more consistent than she ever has or has for a long time.
I watched the bottom 2 or bottom third, bottom half of her run. I thought the wind really went out of her sails. I don't know what happened.
It did, I reckon.
She'd had a big crash. She had a big crash on her last practice run.
She
in that
looked
same
good through
spot,
the top,
I think.
though. She was up in the top. Oh, yeah, true. From that spot down, maybe that's where she started to blow it. Because I felt like the wind went out of her sails and she wasn't aggressive. She looked like she was just doing a mellow park run the rest of the run, I thought.
Still when you compare for a third.
Well, but you compare that to, I mean, she was 3 seconds up, I think, in the top section, in the top split. Was it 2 seconds? Can't remember.
She was still a second behind Valley in the top split in the end.
Right, okay. So, I mean, she was still up on Gracie, though, right?
Yeah, 2 seconds up on Gracie.
Right,
Yeah, the whole field.
True. But, so whatever the case, I mean, fair play, she's got third, but I feel like had whatever crash not occurred earlier on, maybe she could have definitely done better. If she'd ridden as she did without that crash, I think you'd be asking more questions, but from the couch.
Yeah. She was nearly 6 seconds down on Valley, by the end of it. So, Cammy Blanche ran uncut Maxxis wet screens. When was the last time anyone has raced with uncut wet screens?
That
was
2006.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit, that is an aggressive tyre.
I was really surprised by the tyre chat and that many of them were running wet. It didn't seem like it was deep enough for a wet.
I think it's pretty soft. Like, you look down low and some of it looked pretty soft in the steeper stuff. But, I mean, you've got that risk.
Jackson was on a dry, eh? He was on a dry?
I believe so. It's an interesting choice. I don't know what. It would have been a real... I mean, obviously it was pretty 50-50 because it sounds like people were running kind of like a mixture between dries to, kind of a mid-tyre all the way through to an uncut wet screen. So, kind of all over the show. But you'd think a faster rolling tyre would be valuable. Although the top was not super long, really, I guess. But you think like an uncut mud tyre on the top stuff would be kind of slow. But yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad, really, when you look at the times.
Nah. No, I reckon it was all... Yeah. Didn't slow Jackson down at the bottom, that's for sure.
No. Other notables, Sasha Ernest was looking good, but then just tucked the front in that big bomb hole in that left-hand corner. But still a 10th, so she kind of was like still pulled out pretty good compared, through a lot of them that crashed.
Looked, there's a lot crashed. Like across the board, there was a lot more crashes than usual.
Yeah, I mean, you look, 11th was Nina Hoffman, 12th was Miriam Nicole. So it's like there was results all over the show.
Yeah.
What's the normal, or what would the average speed be over the season, you think? 30 odd K?
That's a real interesting 30s. One. We need a stats person to...
Yeah. Get old Martin Whitley on the phone. Yeah. Let's just hypothetically say it's 35. You're going an average speed that's 12k an hour faster on this track. So people aren't accustomed to going that speed.
No.
I mean...
That is a high-paced track.
It'd be interesting to know the average speed of that bottom half. But even so, you've been doing 45 to 69k an hour on that top section, depending on what wind you got.
Yeah. Shout out to Warner Brothers as well for sending out their post-race email with the winners' names. The big subject about how Gracie Hemstreet and Jackson Goldstone are victorious in Loudenvielle, and it's the first thing I see in my notification centre on Monday morning when I get up to watch the race. So that was cool.
Good.
This was my rant from the other week. I pay for the package. I don't mind paying for sport. I'm not one of these tight asses who goes onto Tiz cycling. I pay for it.
No, same.
The first thing I see when I've tried to find the footage for the first race, winning runs, and it has the name of the person. What are you doing? And secondly, what's the point in those winning run videos? It's like having Andre Agassi. It's like Andre Agassi won the US Open or whatever, but you just have the camera on him. You don't see anything else. Like there's no context.
Yeah.
It's like awesome.
Pointless.
One dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking...
So I'm going to be writing a heavily worded email to Josh Carlson. I believe he runs the show over there.
He has the most to say.
I think it depends on whether you can get him in between Rick trying to talk over him. Because there was a lot, it was like a talking competition between him and Rick of who could talk over each other at Loudenvielle.
I think Nico's better with Josh there. He talks more and it's really good. I like Rick.
I don't.
Do you think there'd be a lot of dead air if Rick didn't have to say the entire name of everywhere? Like,
so
imagine
I don't get, I don't know these places yet, but, for the last few years that Nove Mesto has been on the calendar, I have never heard anyone call it Nove Mesto Namarave until Rick starts commentating. Same with Loudenvielle Perigord.
They've had to put him up to it, right? Sure.
They must be, yeah.
Is he getting a bonus? Like, if they're like, Rick, if you say this 100 times, you get an extra €1,000 this week.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I was
it might be one of those ridiculous things where they've got some kind of contract in place and they're going to have... I remember, like, Mountain Bike New Zealand, back when I did the MC thing, there was agreement there of, like, you're going to be mentioned at least this many times in the...
Bush Road Salads? Was that Bush Road Salads era?
It probably was, actually, yeah.
What was the linkage there? Like, why was it Bush Road Salads?
Wasn't...
Tim Mackesy's dad had something to do with it, I think.
Tim Mackesy's dad was... he might have been a shareholder in it, but he was also the bean counter for them.
Accountant. Yeah.
Accountant for them. Yeah.
There you go.
Never saw a salad, though. And did any of you ever eat a salad?
I think I got a voucher. I think I got a voucher for them at one point.
Yeah, right.
Might have been part of my Most Improved Junior trophy back in 2005 when I famously beat Nathan Sherritt out for it.
Shout out to Nathan Sherritt. He's currently on the injured list.
Again?
Not again. Dirt bikes got him, didn't they?
Oh.
He's going to be selling that dirt bike.
There was a podium, I remember, somewhere, and they each got a salad.
Did they
Might have
open
been
them up and
Dunedin. I'm
spray
pretty
each
sure it
other
was-
with the
pretty
salads
sure
or
it was
like
Dunedin.
with the
Yeah.
with the salad dressing?
The salad dressing, yeah.
Oh, that wouldn't be a good look.
Squirt. No, not at all.
I remember eating a lot of the Nature Valley bars.
Yeah.
They were dry, man.
With a
It was
lot
so
of water.
dry. So dry.
Oh, where did we even get to? Yeah, so I was like thinking about it, and I don't know, like I'm assuming like Namarave is the region or whatever, and I was trying to think of it like it would be like if you had a World Cup and then the race in Rotorua Crankworks, and they constantly say like Rotorua Bay of Plenty or like
Yeah.
Nelson Tasman or
Totally.
Auckland. Is that the region? Is Auckland just Auckland?
Yes.
We're here in Auckland,
Auckland.
racing
Yeah,
at
I
440
wonder,
Mountain Bike Park.
it's totally odd, really, isn't it? But whatever.
Oh, can't wait for Mont Saint Anne, Quebec.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be that.
Oh man! All right, we've gone completely sideways, which is completely unusual for us. But Jackson Goldstone, that was, I mean, Red Dog already brought it up. That run was like a death wish run. He was
He was
just
ready to die.
on the limiter.
Yeah.
The he was like on the top, you know, like it looked like he was on the last couple of inches of every berm. Like he was riding them so high.
So high. Like that was the scary part. Like I was like, there's got to be nothing up there.
Yeah.
He's inches away from death.
Yeah.
Maybe
It's crazy, isn't it? It was interesting, I thought, because I can't remember if it was this race or the previous that he was talking to one of the commentary team about being smaller and the advantages and disadvantages of being small frame rider or versus big or whatever. And I thought, oh, well, this course, that upper section, I would have thought you want to be a bigger person, bigger dude, a Bruni
Momentum.
style,
Yeah.
momentum in the top. But then all the time in that course was in the bottom. And maybe him being light and nimble and tall, because he seems to have grown even more, is what really helped him out.
Yeah,
I
you
think
got to
the wind
wonder.
neutralised the top a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I think that evened it up.
I think the wind played some
Yeah,
havoc
true.
up there.
So
Some
if he's
riders got.
calm, those nuggety guys with more power might have been able to drive a bit faster, maybe.
Smaller
But yeah,
frames to get through, cut through.
He was nearly two. He was like 1.4 seconds down on Emery at the first split. But yeah, again, just like turned it around, just like Gracie turned it around in those last few splits. Like just absolutely firing down there for a 1.5 second win. I gotta say though, as much of a fan of Jackson I am, I didn't like the victory celebration when he rolled.
Nah.
Well, not the victory celebration, but his going into the lead celebration. Like it just, I don't know, it didn't look good to me.
No,
Didn't,
I think
didn't like the standing up with pausing with one arm out. Like it just looked.
Sit down, be humble, Jackson.
Yeah.
yeah. Red Dog
Not a-
called it. No, I have
Yeah.
to agree. That style doesn't really vibe with me. But
Like I'm
No.
good with a fist pump and whatever, but I don't know. It just seemed a bit cocky, that one. But yeah, whatever. He's won 3 World Cups and I've won none, so he can do what he wants.
He's not a Nelson Winter Series champ.
No, he's not. That's true. Maybe that'll be his next series to
Endeavour.
chase.
Hey, Kerry, this will bring some. This will really brighten your day. That bike looked the pick of the bunch, I thought.
whoa,
It
we
won the
doing-
race, so
it did win the
I
race. There's
liked
clearly
the setup,
nothing
and
wrong
I
with
think that was he was set up for that bottom section. He steers with the rear a little bit, which I think worked. I think that's where Bruni, and I'm wondering if this is going to become a bit more evident. Like I felt like Amory and Bruni's bikes are really set up at that top. They're good at going fast and straight, and then in the bottom their grip was at a premium. I felt like they were a bit too front heavy and didn't seem to be able to execute as well.
maybe that's where Jackson being a lighter rider is helping him, where he's kind of able to just to float a little bit more, but still get that traction where you've got a big dudes like Emery and Bruni, where they're big and strong.
They
And,
kind of sit in more. They
stuck in the ground a bit
some
more.
of that could come through under heavy braking as well. You know, you're going to be sitting deeper potentially in your travel if you're a bigger rider. They've got more momentum to slow down.
And you're putting more force through the course. Like those turns look like they were done.
Yeah.
So, but lighter, you're putting less force through that, less ability to push through. Maybe, don't know.
There was a couple of notable corners for me with Jackson's run. One was that first long right-hander up in the top where he rode just inside until the last second and then just banked out of it and carried so much speed. And while Emery was still faster in the top section, he hit that hole at the start and lost his momentum much more rapidly.
That was a big difference, say that.
So, and then there was another left-hander. Once they dropped down into the steeper stuff, there was quite a blown-out left-hander that then went into they gapped across another piece of track, and Jackson just kind of floated through that left. Everyone,
I think
that left was ridiculous.
Yeah, it looked absolutely cooked, and he just rode through it like it was just full traction. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting where that comes out. I did actually, so I went looking because I noticed that Jackson had a GoPro on, and today I was like, I should go and have a look and see if Jackson and Amory's GoPro runs are up. So you can, because I got two screens, put one up on either screen, watch their GoPro runs and see where kind of, times made or whatever. Jackson's wasn't there, and then this afternoon, I saw a GoPro video come out talking to Jackson, and I don't know if you noticed when he was on that bridge halfway down, he reached up, and I thought he was adjusting his goggles.
He turned it off.
Yeah, he thought he was turning it on because he thought it was off, but here's a conspiracy theory for you. Maybe he had some lines down the bottom, and he was actually turning the GoPro off to delete the evidence.
It was my first thought.
Ooh.
Why would you turn it off?
Well, he thought he was turning it on. He didn't think it was on, so he reached up to turn it on, apparently.
That's weird. Why would you bother?
Yeah, you'd think you'd just forget about it by that point, or you'd think you would have forgotten about it by that point.
I mean, he was going about 1,000 miles an hour, so I don't think there's any lines that he had.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Emery Perron, second place, leader's jersey now. Yeah. Just
it's a cool run to watch again.
Yeah.
Classic, solid riding. It's going to be, if this season stays, if everyone stays healthy between the likes of, Jackson, Emery, Bruni, it could be a real good season of people bouncing in and out of winning, especially with the whole Q1 and Q2. Even though these guys are, Jackson's been through one Q2, and Emery's been through, very controversially, through a Q2 as well. But man, if guys are just making it in through Q2, it's going to be interesting to see, because it's going to be more stressful for these dudes now. And then you'll have someone like one of these top guys, I'm sure, will just blow it and won't make it into a final. It's got to happen.
Yeah, surely. Yeah.
Well, you already had Ronan done.
That's true. 2 wheels. He blew up 2 wheels. One each.
I know. Can I ask a question on that, Kieran Lester? Is that his fault or the mechanic's fault or the wheel builder fault?
I would put it. Well, I don't know.
Blame pie.
I don't know where he blew it up. So I haven't seen footage of them destroying the wheels, but I would not put it on the mechanic, because judging by the wheel that I saw, it was disintegrated. So my blame pie would be heavily on the wheel, the rim manufacturer.
Oh, okay.
What wheels are they running?
E13, I think.
Oh, the E13.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, my blame pie would probably be more skewed towards the rim rather than the rider.
Okay.
But it depends on what he did. If he landed on a massive square curb, then you got to put it towards the rider. But if it just kind of disintegrated on him, then I'm going to go putting the blame pie towards the rim itself.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan Williams was a surprising run.
Yeah, that was a good run too.
That was.
He rode well.
I forget how good he actually is.
Yeah.
He's underrated.
He's surprisingly only good in the dry. Like, I remember last year he suffered in the wet. It got uncertain and he was not keen.
Yeah. Actually, like Lenzerheide, when he won his
It was dry as a
first
bone.
round. Yeah, and that's a very similar, like, loose, dry, steep sections of track. So it's a good point.
How about Finn
Yes.
Isles, eh? Dude can't catch a break.
Man, that
was weird.
Like, no one crashes up there, and then he just crashes on, like, a nothing corner. Like, that was... Poor dude.
Yeah, it was that was odd.
And I saw a good clip of him. Must have been crashing in practice as well. He had a hugie. Someone got it on his cell phone. I can't remember where I saw it. Must have been on Instagram somewhere.
How about his second crash as well, further down the
on
track?
His race run. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was just like insult to injury.
Yeah.
And that was a worse crash than his first one as well. I was like, oh, fuck. Like, his day's already done, and then he goes and does this as well.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Like, brutal day for him. Nathan Pontvian was the most entertaining run of... Oh, actually, no. It's on par for the most entertaining run of the weekend with Bodie Burke, who won the juniors.
Oh, I didn't see the
I
juniors.
didn't see his one.
Oh,
No.
You've got to watch Bodie's run. It is on the limit. Like, he is just drifting and sliding, and, like, he is moments away from disaster.
Oh, right.
It's a great run to watch, actually, Bodie Burke's one. But Pontvian's run was good. Man, that was... And this is what's cool. I like this with the new format still bringing some of these dudes through. I think that was a lot of the, like, what about these kind of, not nothing guys, but, like, these B-level guys, and they're still coming through for solid results. So it was a great one.
Yeah. He'd had some success as a junior, eh?
He won a World Cup as a junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was born the year that I was racing juniors, so that's cool.
Yeah, good. Does Syndicate take a look at it?
You reckon they
In
slot
a
him in,
reserve
fill in?
bench? Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool to see? I'd like to see that. And that, like, what do you got, like? I'm trying to think of another sport where maybe they have that, and they kind of like F1, where they.
Well, I was going to say motorsports like that.
Yeah.
You get a ring in. If your team, I mean, it's happened in downhill as well, isn't it? And I'm pretty sure it can happen. You can take someone.
Yeah,
off the
this
bench.
year you can bring in, like, I think the elite teams can bring in, like, a rider.
Okay.
Into
Yeah.
their, something like, there is some sort of rule like that.
There is someone in play at the moment who I can't remember who it is. I'm sure that there's somebody. One of the teams has got a bunch of broken off people, and they've got some other dude in there at the moment. Or maybe I'm thinking of last year.
Mondraker did. Mondraker? It was Roger Vieira?
No, they put him. That's Pivot.
No, that was Pivot. I thought they brought him in as a fill-in.
Yeah, he's a fill-in.
He's the fill-in. Yeah,
He's the
that's
fill-in
who
for
I'm
Bernie.
thinking of, actually.
They need
now
a guy
I think
called
about it.
Philip to be the fill-in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
fill-in
think that's
rider.
cool. I reckon that's rad. Gives them a taste, gives them a potential pathway to a big league,
Hey, USA is, like, back to being sneaky strong.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah, Pinky?
and Luca fifth. Well, Luca
Yeah.
fifth, Pinky sixth,
Sixth.
and then Bodie Burke won, and then, like, Ali Osgard and juniors, who's kind of like potentially next big thing. Yeah, US is coming back strong. I feel like
How
they've.
oh man, her name is escaping me. Who's the frameworks?
I know who you're
girl?
talking about. Yeah,
Anna
didn't she
Newcourt,
crash?
she got
was
fifth.
going.
Oh, did she?
She
We
got-
didn't see her run. It just got deleted.
No, she got
Poor
fifth.
Nico.
So another good result for her. So
But her
Over
run
on
wasn't
the-
on the broadcast. They show her starting and then they just showed her finishing, and that was it.
that's
That's right.
right.
Nico's in the booth and he's just like,
Sweet.
nothing.
Go.
No commentary. Great footage.
Yeah.
Same on the cross country side too, KB. Like
No,
they've got a lot of cross country on, men and women's coming up. It's pretty cool. I mean,
it's
that's
been
got
a
to be
while.
good for the. It's got it has been a while. It's got to be good for the sport overall. If you've got downhill and cross country both doing well, with so many American brands, hopefully they're going to. I know, like Trek, for example, are happy to put more money into American riders if they've got American riders doing well. So,
Well, it makes sense for a brand like that. Like it just seems. If you've got an American brand, wouldn't you want to? If you're an American-based brand, wouldn't you want to have American rider doing well? So, no, makes absolute sense.
Handy.
Good. Luke Wayman. That was a solid ride from Luke.
It's a breakout.
That was awesome. He had a rough go. Well, actually, the whole Atherton Continental team had a pretty rough go at round one, but good to see them both through to the finals, even if Charlie did have a pretty disastrous end to his run. But, an epic result from Luke. Top 10, that's one to put in the bank, and hopefully he gets a bit of momentum for him. And that was the highest placing gearbox so far, I think, this season.
I was wondering about that.
For the Gates Belt Drive Bounty. Just one spot ahead of Joe Breeden, who... That's impressive in itself that Joe Breeden is running and managing that team, and he's just riding it into finals 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah, that's epic. Those bikes seem to... they look like they work pretty well too.
Yeah, they seemed like they weren't having that good of a time with the MS when the MS team were on them, but I don't know, they seem to be working a bit better this year. Maybe it's the gearbox thing is helping with the bike or something, but it didn't feel like they were looking as good last year as they were this year. And I mean, that's the biggest change in them.
Yeah, interesting.
Bruni in 15th, that was a bad race for him.
Uncharacteristic.
Yep.
Do you reckon his near over the bars on that massive gap thing, do you reckon that just threw it out for him? Like, that just looked like it was a big eyes, brown pants moment, and he kind of was like, whoa, actually, I'm not doing this anymore.
I wonder if... Because his girlfriend's pregnant, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So I wonder if he was in midair and then was like nearly out the front door and like, oh, I got a baby coming. And I just need to button off a little bit.
Yeah, maybe it's come early for him that he's like, oh, geez, I'm going to be a dad, Papa Bruni.
Yeah.
And the fear will sink into him.
That's it.
Yeah,
soon he'll
pretty
be
rough
washed
one
up
for
and
him.
become a podcaster.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll do better than this one anyway.
Yeah,
That's for sure. Troy Brosnan as well. It's a pretty rough race for him. I actually thought this would be quite good for Troy. I felt like this would be one of those ones where he would just be like floating, you know? He just is so smooth and he just like floats over that sort of loose stuff, but not to be.
No, not ideal for him.
Gwyn in finals in his first World Cup this season. It was good to see.
Does he have to get in the top 3 for me to get beers now, or?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That has to be actually on the podium. No, it has to be a proper podium. No, he was good too. He was 7th and 6th at the first 2 splits and then kind of went a little bit backwards down the bottom, but you forget, I mean, the legacy's there, right? Like, I mean, he's second all time in World Cup wins, but you kind of forget of how good he actually still is just because it feels like it's been so long. But yeah, he looked pretty good. He looked good on the bike. Tohoto, first at the first 2 splits. Man, he was on one. He was looking so good. And I felt like this was finally when we were seeing Tohoto's talent shine through. And then an unfortunate crash. Just an awkward crash too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you're right. I feel like he's just been waiting for a bit of a breakthrough. And if he hadn't have crashed, this would have been a pretty solid, probably almost regardless of the result. I mean, it would have been a good result, but at least he kind of showed his talent and his skill.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was on pace with Amory at the second split, you know, just slightly ahead of him. So I reckon my personal opinion is that he has been held back by his bikes for the last few years. I don't think that Mondraker was good when they were on them, between him and Brooke, and I don't think that Intense was very good for him last year either. I think he has just struggled with bikes, and it's probably thrown his confidence. He looks like he's riding pretty bloody good now, but it probably threw his confidence a bit, because when you battle with bikes like that and you start questioning, you start second guessing, like, is this me? You know, the bike should be good.
Yeah, especially if someone else does good on it.
Yeah. So the Zero, he looks good on the Zero though. Won national champs, obviously. So
yeah,
good on to Hodo. Hopefully this will carry on for him.
He won Q2 as well, eh?
Yeah.
Do you put that on your CV?
Why not?
I probably would.
Take the LCQ
that's
win.
the literal first loser situation, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
Actually,
it's a high pressure situation.
Yeah.
Speaking of nearly first loser, did you guys see the drama of Chris Hauser and his Q2 run? Catching up with one of the MS guys. I can't think of what his name is.
Oh, yeah, I did see that, yeah.
And the dude's just like cruising in front of him, and he's shouting at him, and just made it in the last qualifying spot. And then you start to wonder,
be up for a rerun, eh?
Would he have got a rerun? Who knows? Eddie Hunden didn't get a rerun.
No. I reckon that they should just make a rule that if you get caught, you get eliminated.
Yeah.
Straight away. So there's no point in staying in front of them.
Can we get some like black flags implemented so they can just black flag people, and it means they have to pull off the track immediately?
Well,
slow, pull off.
Yeah. What was your conspiracy theory?
My conspiracy theory?
Yeah, I thought you said there was a conspiracy theory about it.
Nah. No conspiracies here.
Have we talked about Henry Kiefer and the umbrella?
That was my next next topic to bring up. What a fucking farce. Like, that just was a absolute shambles from start to finish.
Oh, I was just yelling, like, pull him out of the gate. Pull him out of the gate. Like, what's he doing?
I'm like, you've opened the start gate.
Yeah, like,
and
get rid of him.
No, you can't start again. When the fuck can you start again? When has that ever happened? Like, Nico snapped a chain out of the gate and still got a podium at a World Cup. Like, you can't start a run again just because you've had a mechanical. Like, you've started your run. Get the fuck out of the way.
I think, I do wonder if they were a bit confused, because am I right that there's a beam further down as well?
I'm not sure what's the primary timing system.
There's got to be a beam right around where the pole is that starts them. Because otherwise, then you'd have a timing discrepancy if they were that much different.
I think there is a timing discrepancy though, but which doesn't really matter, because he
still started his run.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. That I think that they thought it doesn't matter because we haven't broken the beam.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. Obviously, was maybe the only thing that was going to get him out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess if you had some doubt in your mind, you would be trying to fix your bike and go, wouldn't you? I mean, I would. If I'm like, well, I didn't break the beam, whether I'm right or wrong, if nobody else can tell me otherwise right then and there.
But also, surely you can't have someone come in the start gate to try and fix your bike for you.
If your mentality is that you haven't actually started, then I think you can.
But then if people don't make their start time, they don't race.
They get binned, yeah.
So he didn't make a start time then, if that's the case, you know? Like, he should have never have been on track regardless. After he didn't go, when his start went, he shouldn't have been on track to me.
There's multiple ways of looking at it. But I think the bottom line is that he should know that once that gate is open, your run starts.
Yeah,
you can't have outside assistance on the track, I don't think, which is...
there's no rule against it. But
Is
it's
there
just
no
assumed
rule?
that if that happens, it doesn't matter. Like
Right.
you're going too slow anyway.
He was in the
Fair.
start gate for over 3 minutes.
Yeah, which that's weird.
Yeah,
Because what's the gap between the riders?
3 minutes at
3
that
minutes.
point. Yeah, where
True.
he is, it
Yeah.
should have been a 3-minute gap.
Yeah.
And so he's still got a time. So they started his time from when he initially
broke it. Yeah.
opened the start pole.
That's
But
how it should have been. I mean,
I reckon he should have been disqualified because he still banked 36 points from that. So when you've got dudes who are
Yeah.
getting disqualified for missing a singular pole, when they on accident or whatever, which I am not, like the whole Amory thing, like whether that's accident or intentional, whatever, that's done and dusted. That's been talked to death. And there's actually a really good video that Cathro did where he basically looked at everything and said, yeah, he did go outside of the course. But yeah, I don't think he should have got those points from that because there was a mockery.
Yeah.
That's kind of a little double standard. I mean, it's a mockery. There's no doubt about that. But that's a little double standard though, because if we're saying that he had started his run and he's in his run and there's no rule saying you can't have outside assistance, it's all kind of
I'm
fair
surprised
play.
there's no rule saying you can't have outside assistance.
I would have surely thought there would be, but
Apparently there's not. I take all my info from Vital though.
That's
And
Vital
also
is the most
apparently-
accurate place.
Apparently it's you're like disqualified or DNF'd or whatever if you take over 100% longer than the winning run or something.
Oh yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, so
I
he
mean-
should have been then.
Yeah,
Apparently this is-
I tend to
have not read
disagree
the
that he
rule book.
should have been disqualified because if you're going with the fact that his run had started, then he really did nothing wrong. It's just that it played out in the start gate still.
Yeah. What a shame.
But anyway, we don't make the decisions. So
No. See, Red Dog, what I do is I download the rule books in a PDF and then I put them into ChatGPT and then I ask it questions about what's in the rule book.
Oh yeah.
That's a good way to go about it.
Well, that's what
That's
the
a great
riders
idea.
should probably be doing.
They should give that a
All the
crack.
team managers. On a similar bike related thing, did you guys see the rear brake drippers?
yeah,
Oh yeah, trying to cool.
Come on, come on. Are you kidding?
Was on-
You're dripping a little bit
that
of water on
was-
your caliper. It's ridiculous.
That was the Aeon team, wasn't it?
And I think Phil
there
Admiral
was-
maybe had one.
there was
Is
another
that,
one.
is that a haze problem or?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe it is. Maybe
It's
that's
like,
the
who
problem.
wants to squirt water on their rear brake?
If you're having to think about that while you're riding down that track, like you're taking your mind off the ball majorly. Like, where are you going? Oh yeah, my brake's fading. I better push my leg over here onto this thing to shoot some water down.
Oh,
Like,
I thought
what
it
the
just
hell?
always dripped. It just dripped
maybe it does.
constantly.
I don't know, but I
Lester,
thought
I
it was
reckon-
I thought it was a squeezer.
I think you were getting confused with, was it like Brendan Johnson or whatever at Unbound who had that with chain lube and he had a squirter onto his chain.
There was actually someone
pretty
at
clever.
Unbound this year doing that too.
Really?
So,
Yeah, he had a.
Yeah.
It was actually a very smart idea.
yeah,
Would you have
that
like a
was-
syringe sort of thing that you
Yeah,
could squirt
so he
in?
had,
Yeah.
he had a
pretty
syringe
clever.
under his top tube or something that went onto like a little hose that was routed down basically just onto the top of the front chain ring, and you just gave it a bit of a squirt and squirted some chain
That's a
lube
real
on it.
good idea.
It's a great idea.
Might implement that on the Breve bike.
It's a good move, good for commuting. So junior men, Tyler Waite, another podium. He's been riding good, Ben. I've always been a Tyler Waite fan, but he's had a good
Same.
solid start to the season. You have, Red Dog. You hate all the juniors.
Jealous.
I
He's
just don't know who
jealous.
they are anymore.
That's an age thing.
What
But,
happened to
man,
Ollie?
So Ollie was on a heater and then he got a rear flat.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously making his way down the course, getting off with a rear flat, he must have cut outside of the course markings at some point, so he got disqualified.
Oh, yeah, that seems.
But where he's
Logical.
probably just trying to actually get out of the way. So, yeah, there you go again with the disqualifying and that sort of shit. But, unfortunate for Ollie because he qualified second and he was looking real good. All the videos and that I saw,
Yeah.
He was looking real solid. But the juniors from first to fourth were 0.7 of a second apart. It was so tight. Tyler was half a second back. Max was 0.1 behind him, and then Till Ulren was 0.1 behind Max. So it was all real close together. And then Asa crashed and was 3 seconds back. So
Are we sounding the panic button yet for Asa?
nah, because the speed's there. We can work with speed. I think it's just maybe it's a pushing too hard situation.
I'm starting to be concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get there when it's time.
Okay.
Rory Meek got 6th.
Yep.
Another Kiwi in 6th. Yeah.
That's solid. I didn't know that.
Malik Boatwright in 8th. So another Kiwi in 8th. John T.
You could
Williamson
say any
in
name.
11th.
Like, you could honestly say any name. Kermit the Frog in 10th. Like, I'd be like, yeah, sure.
No, that was Zach Bradley Hudson in 10th. But
Okay.
at least we don't have, at least these names of these juniors isn't as stupid as the, amateur motocross kids. They're Ryder and Racing and Braxton and Brixton and all that.
That is...
They have good names, genius.
So now some strong results from the Kiwis, and then in the juniors, Ellie obviously qualifying first and then crashing. Bella Birchall did pretty decent as well. I'm just trying to open up the results. I can't remember exactly where she finished up. 4th. So
Wow.
and then Indy Devo in 6th. So yeah, we had three junior women in there too. It's good, man. We got some good juniors coming up.
Exciting couple of years ahead, boys.
It is. Right, I've got a couple of other random topics. What's wrong with the 6D helmet designers?
What's wrong with them?
They're so bad.
Don't they just hollow out a bowling ball?
I think they might.
At least their helmets are safe. At least their heads are safe in their helmets, KB.
Yeah, that's good. I made a note at one point. Rick was talking about how these downhill mountain bikes were 200 millimeters of wheel travel. I was really stoked that he filled that in for us. That was something I was very intrigued to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink Bike Fantasy, how'd you guys go in fantasy?
I think I was 3rd or 4th.
It's real good that neither of you are playing. Really adds to the game.
It is
We've got
really
no time for that. We're busy planning important things like brevets and.
Well, 2 Americans came out on top, so I don't think horses. Yeah, I don't think horse is going to send them any glasses, unfortunately. So the prize from our fantasy sponsor Virus Brand will have to wait for another week.
Who are the Americans? Are they just some random people?
Someone's called Panama Man, and the other one is called Stephen Old Shoes.
Okay.
So.
Okay, sorry, Mr. Old Shoes, but you're not going to be getting some new sunglasses.
Yeah. Steve is from Philadelphia. So he's a Pennsylvania guy.
Reach?
Yeah, and Panama Man is from Santa Cruz, California.
Hang on.
Oh.
Does he know about the course cutting at the PA Champs?
Do you reckon he was there at Blue Mountain 2009?
I reckon he's the insider I need.
When I was the Pennsylvania State Super D and downhill champion.
Yes.
One of my highlights of my...
I'm pretty sure we heard this story last podcast as well, KB.
You hear it every
potentially
podcast.
the one before that as well.
I've got to keep bringing up my highlights of being Pennsylvania State champ. Because it's when you don't have many.
Go watch the excursion video.
You got to bring them up. It is good. All right, I asked for a few questions on Instagram, so we'll punch through a few of these to round things out. AS Capture asks, who's going to be the first Kiwi to win a race this season? They're all on fire at the moment. I think if I was going to take the easy money, I'd say it will be Ali Huzelbosch or Tyler Waite.
Yeah.
Probably next
Ali.
weekend. I think Tyler's not far off it. I think Ali's probably due for it. Sam Crawford wants the pivot power rankings released. I think they're gone. I think they might be.
Power rankings are no more. I think.
Yeah.
You had
I
too
think
many
we might
legal
subscribe to
letters.
Patreon, and we might release them in there.
We might have to do some special power rankings on the Patreon. That could be actually where the power rankings live, is on Patreon from now on, because it's probably the safest place for them to be, behind a paywall.
I believe you'll be severely disappointed if we put them in there.
Yeah, you would. Jono Caulfield would like to know, do we actually want downhill to be like F1? Umbrella Gate, is that what we want for the sport?
No, I don't want it to
Not
be
really.
like F1 because F1's pretty boring.
No,
We've got to keep it core.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the umbrella.
Under your
Umbrellas
umbrella.
play a big part in the sport. I mean, Martin Whitley had one, and Champery, Matey Mankind had under.
Yeah, there was also the one that Menard's old mechanic had one year when Menard did that at World Champs back in the Honda days.
Tony Seagrave had one up in the wind this weekend at the top of the hill, pink one.
There you
go. Chris Reed asks, most punches we've seen in a while? Could be. I didn't actually pay too much attention.
Not punches. Dust ups.
Flat tires. No punch ups.
I feel like there's that many in every really dry race.
Yeah.
Maybe wrong.
Friend of the show, Cowboy, asks, how good are the juniors? Live free to air at a great time for parents.
Agree.
Can't disagree with them on that one.
Agree, Cow.
Kieran Meyer asks, discussion re trimming the field to 30, but still can't see any more of each rider's run. I'm fine with it being 30 people in the finals. I almost think that is too many sometimes. I don't have time to watch all of them.
I think that's a valid point, though. Why trim it down and we're still seeing the short
Wasn't it 30 last year?
runs?
It's been 30 for ages.
It was 30
I don't
last
think
year
it's
as
about
well.
the 30 thing. I think it's just about, can't we just see more of the runs?
Oh, yeah, you end up with really big
I think it's kind of valid, but there's only so many video cameras in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just unfortunate, I think, at the moment, like I talked about last weekend when we had guys like Troy and Amory and that starting early, and you saw hardly any of their run because they were like in the earlier short time spans. But it is what it is. Cam Cole wants us to discuss the length of the drive from Loudenvielle to Leogang. Yours, please, Murray Deaker on Sport.
Yours, please. That's great for more, so I really like that.
I know nothing about the length of drive from Loudenvielle to Leogang. Sorry, horse. I
Isn't
can't.
it like
I'll look
24
it up.
hours or something?
I'll look it up.
You look up
Quite
that.
a way.
Yours, please.
Scott Keir asks, at what stage in the panel's biking life do you all think it'll be time for an e-bike, if at all? I rode my e-bike just yesterday, Scott. I am a big e-bike guy.
It's 15 hours 30.
Oh, that's not that far.
15 hours. I thought it was 24.
Far, man.
It's quite a way.
What was the question? When's the time for an e-bike?
Yeah. Now's the time.
Go the other route. What was this guy's name? Scott.
Yeah.
Go the other route, Scott. Get into cross country.
Yeah, it's another good point. I mean, I got into my 30s and I've just gone all over the show, like e-bikes, cross country, downhill,
gravel,
just everywhere. Yeah. Quite a few questions about the Fox speed suit. A lot of like it not looking good. A couple of expletives about it that I won't mention. Not good for the sport. I don't know. I get they've found a way around a loophole. I don't think I'm there for it though.
See, my biggest problem isn't the speed suit itself. That's quite a good idea. My problem is they're all ugly.
Yeah, that's done a terrible job. I've got to say that
Tani's leaders one looked pretty good this week.
Tani's is good. I'm into white pants, but the syndicate one is terrible.
Oh, they're so ugly.
It reminds me a little bit of when I did that helmet for Cam with the stuff dripping down the side. And it was supposed to be like gold, and it came out like calf scab brown.
Like brown.
It's a little bit like that.
I ran that helmet for a while.
Did you?
Yeah,
I wish that thing was still around.
it will be. Horse will still have it somewhere.
I think if they could look a bit better, it'd be alright. Hayden Bewley asks, is it kosher to bring a muddy bike through the office after a winter lunch ride? I don't see any problem with that.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well-being.
Hopefully you're working at doctors or something somewhat sanitary like that as well, like just really roll it through, maybe through A&E, something like that. Luke Millington wanted to know about officials not knowing the rules, missing poles, last week's runner interference. That's probably most of those topics were our last episode.
Yeah, they're all good points, though.
Clearly,
They
you
are
didn't
good
listen
points.
to
People don't
the
know the rules,
episode last week,
including
Luke.
us.
There is like a lot of weird shit going on this season, to me.
Yeah.
I like it. Gives us something to talk about.
It's true. It is handy. Good to have the content because we can't come up with it ourselves. UCI Gary, injured riders so far this season.
Yeah.
Who's injured? Who's
I
been
think
injured?
there's a few out of this race, wasn't there? Well, mind you, most of the people who had the big rags actually got away all right.
Lisa Bauman broke a collarbone. That was
Jeez.
huge.
Yeah.
That was a
That was
huge.
massive, eh?
I feel like we've got most of the top field there for once. Like there was a lot of injuries coming in. There was people getting hurt in the off season, and it looked kind of marginal. But yeah, not too bad. Top wet conditions riders. Reece Wilson's the first one that springs to mind there.
Remy Therion, because that's what they always say.
Remy's got to be the next one.
Remy is a fantastic wet rider, and obviously Jesus on a downhill bike, aka Sam Hill.
Yeah, the best.
Favorite meme accounts? Definitely not UCI_Gary.
Favorite meme accounts.
You're
know
not
what a
even
meme
on
is,
Instagram,
Red
Red
Dog?
Dog. Do you know what a meme is?
I quite like those memes in like Microsoft Teams that you can send around. Like kids like the ones that like Sesame Street.
It's
Are they memes?
fantastic.
No, they're GIFs. I can't know what a meme is.
They're gifts. Kevin wanted us to talk about Cam Jones. We did that off the top.
Hang on. Is Kevin the most successful coach in New Zealand? Mountain bike coach in New Zealand?
Yes.
Got to be now. Yeah, sure.
Dude, he's awesome.
Is he the
mate.
only one?
There's lots of
No,
people
to be
who want
honest.
to be.
Nah, it's
What a
few of them,
legend,
Red.
man. It's got a dude that won a Supercross. It's got
Yeah.
Unbound. Like, damn, that's cool.
Yeah. Nah, Kevin's,
Do they
Kevin's
know
got
that
some
he
low-key
coaches-
legends.
Sorry, Kevin. I don't mean that. I'm just having a stab, mate.
Richie Houston says, after all the chat, I feel that the World Cups have stepped up a massive gear. Hype don't lie. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're any
I
different from
agree.
previous years.
Nah, I'm feeling it. Oh, this
Like
is
it.
Feeling it?
yeah.
I mean, I love it. I got
I
no
think
problem
KB
with
and
it.
I had some quick messages the other day. His race watching was kind of blown thanks to his email, but I watched the race about as live as I could first thing in the morning and didn't know the results at the time. And man, it was good to watch. It,
Yeah, it was
makes a
still good
world of
racing.
difference.
I only saw that Jackson won. I actually watched the women's live on Sunday night. So the women's racing was real good. I find when I actually watch it live, it's better than, even if I don't know the results, watching it as a replay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Hannah NZL asks, skin suits and downhill, yay or nay? I'll be surprised, Hannah, if you actually even listen to the podcast, but if you do, congratulations on making it this far. Because she's one of my workmates.
She loves a skin suit, so
Yeah.
I think what I can't believe is that they haven't just gone, this sport is about going as fast as you can. Skin suits are fair game.
Go hard.
Downhill.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris isn't here, but let's bring up downhill ski racing because Chris
Oh.
isn't here,
Yeah.
so we'll talk about it. They wear skin suits.
Yeah.
They're just going fly out.
I think at least open it up for world champs like they used to. That was cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
You got to keep
Yeah.
your visors on, but I'm here for a skin suit.
Why do you have to keep your visor on?
I just think if you're going to go to a skin suit, why have a visor?
Just go all in. Go all in.
The aero,
What about, like, one of
disadvantage of a
those-
visor is not that big, though. I don't think, is it?
What about one of
Like, you
those?
can have a small one.
Take your visor off and run like one of those morph suits where it actually goes all the way over your head and everything. So like you'd run that on top of your helmet for absolute max aero gains.
Yeah. I mean, they would have to enforce some kind of rules around helmet shape or something, because you'd start to see dudes. I mean, like in the road racing, now you got guys racing full TT helmets on the road.
Could you imagine like a TT style downhill helmet?
TT full face
Sweet.
with a like full visor on it.
Yeah,
That would
that'd be
interesting.
awesome.
But it would make a difference, though. That's the thing. When you're doing 60, well, let's say 45k an hour average,
47 kilometers an hour
47.
average.
like, it makes a difference. Why
You're dripping water on your
handbrake?
rear brake. We're there, guys. Like,
Yeah.
you're doing
Yeah.
everything.
If we want to be F1, that's what we've got to do.
Can we implement a pit stop into the race somewhere? Like
How
just a
good
front,
would that be?
like just a front wheel. They've just got to change a front wheel or something. You know, not make it too crazy.
Have you seen it in cross country though? Man, they're painful to watch sometimes.
The rear wheels
yeah.
are the worst when
Oh,
they miss like getting the
fumbling
chain over the
around.
cassette and
Maybe instead of a pit stop, we have a bus stop.
oh,
You've got to ride up this thing, and then you almost stop at the top, and then you drop back in.
Jump out.
yeah. Like just instead of going down a straight section of track, you're going to cut up onto the bank for a
Yeah.
couple of meters. That sounds great. Jay Fipsy asked how you're going to fit Unbound, a downhill World Cup, and an EWS round into one podcast. Well, Super Grom, we did it, and we talked about XC as well. Look at us go.
And we're going to
Come
have
at
to do
us,
it next
Super
week
Grom.
as well.
Yeah, it's going to be busy. We could talk about motocross as well. There's a fair bit going on. It was a massive weekend in the weekend because I had motocross to watch, I had F1 to watch, and I had downhill to watch, and Unbound. So there's a lot going on. But we made it. We're still here. Did you guys see the Ryan Gilchrist start gate maneuver at Crankworks? That's the last question I've got here.
Yes.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Outstanding.
Is it within the rules?
Well, there's no rules saying it's not.
There's, yeah.
I feel like it's
It's not
pretty
the rules.
marginal, though.
it's pretty
It is
devious.
marginal. Yeah.
It may not be illegal, but it's not sportsmanlike.
Nah.
There you go.
I agree.
It felt cheap.
Yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah.
why
That's a good way
bother?
to put it.
Are you allowed to wear a skin suit at Crankwork?
I think
Nah.
there's no rules at Crankworks because I saw dudes racing in shorts, which apparently you're not allowed to do anymore at
Oh,
World
yeah.
Cups or anything. So apparently Crankworks is whatever goes,
Fair game.
which surprised me because that was a UCI Continental round. So
Yeah. Surely it has to abide by the UCI
Yeah.
downhill rules.
That's
if
Where was,
the
what I
case.
where was
thought.
Derek enforcing that over there?
yeah, Derek was
sure.
clearly not there. Derek loves shorts too. He's a big cargo shorts guy.
Huge shorts guy. Never seen him in
Yeah.
pants. Oh, no, I have. Just the zipped on bottoms.
Yeah, because he just zips the bottoms back onto his cargo shorts.
Derek's a genius.
He's a thinker,
Yes.
yeah.
Living in
That's
the future.
definitely-
He's been around.
Man.
He knows his
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Have you got anything else?
No.
No.
Nah.
I think that'll do us. That'll do us for this week. It was a good show. Like,
That was a great show.
Indeed. We did well.
Yeah, we did well. We didn't have anything like the caliber of Win Masters like last episode, but
Oh, Chris Vanderkolk.
no, that's all right. If you didn't listen to the Aaron Peltari podcast last week, you should jump onto that one and give that one a listen to because he was real interesting. And I think he's actually
Oh,
going
yeah,
to
we
join
should
us
do that.
here for one of these before long as well.
Nice.
Yeah. So that'll be good.
I'll save
Get
up
someone,
my T-Roy questions.
yeah, get someone with some credibility on this janky show.
Yeah, that'd be
So-
great. And look out for the Grizz podcast with Lester, Chris, and myself.
Yeah.
Can't
Coming
wait
up.
for you guys. I'm looking forward to hearing it. I'm
It's
going
going
to
straight
enjoy
to
it.
Vital, I think, isn't it, that one?
Yeah, no, we have
yeah.
contracted that to Vital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, another great one. Thanks again to Maxxis and Fox for keeping us
Thank you,
keeping
Maxxis.
us running this
Thanks,
season.
Maxxis. Definitely.
Heard you
Thank
boys
you,
have just
Thank
got
you very
some
much.
fresh rubber on the way, so that's great to hear.
There were
Keeping us-
concerns within that our relationship manager had been intercepted by our,
Yes.
our employer.
I did see your relationship manager yesterday driving, and I did say to him maybe I should take that box of tyres and just gatekeep them for a little bit longer, but no, I let him keep rolling. So
There was concerns that we were going to be maybe sort of talking terms of this deal if that didn't come through. But he's come through for us, so thank you.
I am the captain. I am the captain.
Yeah, there's like a
Right, boys?
mountain of Maxxis tyres like out of shot. You swim in them.
He actually sleeps in them at night.
Yeah, he sleeps in them.
That's what my bed is. My bed is
rubber.
made of Maxxis tyres.
And he dresses up as the Maxxis man.
Yeah.
Actually, quickly before we go, I'm going to throw you on the spot, but men's and women's winners for Leo Gang, because it's coming up in like 2 days after we get this podcast out.
Ooh, I reckon Valley's going to take the women's this time. And
It is her home race. Tick tock, tick tock, tick
Amory.
tock. We just, oh yeah.
Oh, I was going to pick Emery. I'll have to pick someone different now.
You can still pick him. And sorry for keeping you up so late, Red Dog.
That's all right. I love it because he needs to rebound. And I'm going to go Marine Cabaret.
Oh, yeah, could be a
left field.
could be a
but
strong.
valid.
Yeah, I'm going to go Valley as well, just because how can you bet against you there? And I'm gonna throw Finn Isles.
Oh.
Finn's luck is going to turn around, and he might win
Make
it.
it though.
I want to see it. I want to see him win one.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Well, there's probably only be like 3 people that will get this far and listen to these predictions anyway, so it's fine.
It's quite all right. Okay.
But otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Toodaloo.